Greetings everybody, Brian from All-in-One Home Inspections here again in our undisclosed location here in beautiful sunny Southern Maryland. We're going to be showing you just a couple home maintenance tips today, just to, some of the biggest things that we find during home inspections, something that you can do to prevent that on an inspection report or just general maintenance around your house, just quick odds and ends here and there. Okay everybody, so one of the most important things for a homeowner to know is how to winterize a hose faucet during wintertime, during freezing temperatures. So the time to do that is that time of the year, and it's different wherever you're at. It's going to determine when the freezing temperatures start. So before it gets below freezing, you want to have these faucets turned off and winterized. That way you don't get any frozen pipes, broken valves, anything like that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn the hose faucet on. I have my assistant inside. When I knock on the wall, he's going to turn the valve off, and then that stops the flow to the faucet, and you'll see it stop running water. So we're going to go ahead and start this up. And then we're going to go ahead and knock on the wall. That's going to give him the signal to close the valve. And there you go, just like that. You're going to leave this valve open so that any remaining water can drain out. And that way, if there is any water trapped in there, in a bend or in an elbow, it gives it a little bit room to expand so it doesn't freeze and cause any ruptures. Alrighty, another important thing for a homeowner to know is how to perform basic caulking. Any gap, crack, opening around your siding or foundation, anywhere there's a pipe or a wire penetration, you want to seal that up because you want to keep the moisture out, you want to keep the critters out, any kind of insects, bugs. You're basically creating a shell around your house that you don't want to be able to penetrate with anything. So this house here, the electrical meter, the caulking is dry and cracked and worn out. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the old caulking first. That way, first of all, it looks a lot better. Second of all, it's going to seal a lot better instead of trying to caulk over top of the old stuff. So I have what we call a little 5-in-1 tool, or a scraper here, I don't know if you guys can see that. And it's got this handy little hook piece here, and it's got this flat scraper on it here, and that's going to allow us to caulk and remove the caulking. Make sure that that groove is nice and clean and open. I'm going to take all this old caulking out, and I've already started working on this a little bit, so this is not typically how it's done. It's a lot harder than this, a lot more effort. But you can see this old caulking here is all dry and cracked up, and it's not sealing anymore. So we're going to be removing that. To create a nice, clean, open area. There's some of that difficult caulk I was talking about. So cleaning this groove here, cleaning this channel out, making sure that all this is broken apart and separated, so that's nice and clean and open. Alrighty. Caulk, please. So you can buy caulk in different colors for different situations. I got the one that as closely matches this as possible. This is like a light gray caulk, and this is kind of a grayish colored siding, so you can get it in white, clear, whatever color you want. You can find something that's going to meet your needs. Do yourself a favor and buy a quality caulk gun. You do not want to do that to yourself and get a cheap gun. It's going to drive you crazy, and it's going to have bad results. So most caulk guns here, they have a little spout cutter on them. You can use that to cut the tip of the caulking tube here. To get that cut, I like to cut it at about a 45-degree angle, and leave a smaller hole is better because you have better control. So we're going to stick it in here like so. We're going to cut it off, 45-degree angle. Okay. Most caulk guns will have a tool here. This is a piece of wire that you have to insert in the tube to actually pierce the tube to get that caulk going. Okay. So you lay it in here like this, adjust the tension, and what we're going to do is nice, controlled, easy strokes. We're going to do nice, short strokes of the trigger. You don't want to squeeze it too hard because a ton of caulk's going to come out and it's going to be uncontrollable. So I'm going to start at the top here, get it right here in this little notch, start slowly applying the caulking, trying to fill those gaps, getting it in there nice and tight. start on the end piece here. Corner a little bit better. There, good. And don't worry if you don't get it exactly even or clean or level on the first try. It takes a little practice to be good at caulking, and we're going to put a little bead across it with our finger here to kind of seal the gaps and make it nice and neat and clean. There we go. Now here's the important part. You need to have a nice clean rag. Terry cloth works pretty good, microfiber is okay, but clean cotton rag, you're gonna wet the rag, get it nice and damp and moist, so that way it doesn't stick to your hands. And then I like to put a little bead of water around this, so I'm gonna spray this with a little bit of water, get that nice and wet, the surface is wet like that. And you take your finger, make sure your finger's good and wet too so the caulking doesn't stick to it. Alrighty. You take your finger, just do a quick little right down the side like that. You got the extra caulk on your finger here, so you can just wipe that off on your rag. And because your finger was wet, the caulk's not sticking to it. I'm going to do a bead down this side here. There we go. Do our bead across the top. I'm going to do just a little bit more spritz of water here. Alrighty, so I'm going to go right across the top here. Then if you need to, you take your rag and get the little details here that you might have missed. You know, you want to clean it up, make that joint look nice and neat and clean. And there you go. Okay, another thing that we see a lot during inspections and looking at homes and maintenance is the downspouts coming down from the gutters. The job of the downspout in the gutter, it works as a system. It catches the water shedding off the roof, directs it to the gutter, to the end of the downspout, or into the trough, down the downspout, and it directs it away from the foundation, or it's supposed to. Now, sometimes having splash blocks just simply isn't enough, because the water comes down here and it hits the splash block and it'll collect or congregate around the foundation, and that's not a good thing. You want that water away from the house. Now right here we have a nice hillside that's got very good grade to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this extension piece here, and this is actually an extension. It'll extend out like an accordion. It's actually corrugated plastic. And this one here extends out to 55 inches. So what we'll do is we'll put it down here at the base of the downspout, extend it down the hill, and that'll give it enough slope so that at the crest of this hill it'll run down and all the water will drain down towards the drainage ditch towards the street here. So JD, if you can give me a hand real quick, we're gonna hold that and just pull. There you go. Keep going, keep going. There you go. Alrighty. So there we go. Extends out to 55 inches, and it's pretty simple. You can take this here, it connects to the bottom of the downspout, just slides right over this. Okay. That way the water catches in there, directs it down here. Right here is about where the hill is. It'll start running downhill, down grade there, and all that water is getting pushed away from the foundation where it can't do any harm. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, another thing that we see a lot is GFCI outlets. And these are required in wet locations, kitchens, bathrooms, you know, anywhere there's a wet location. What a lot of people don't know about these GFCI outlets is that they require a monthly self-test that the homeowner is supposed to perform. Hardly ever does it get done. So you as a homeowner can purchase one of these testers, and these are available at any hardware, any home improvement store, and it's just a simple device. It'll tell you if an outlet is wired properly, if there's any kind of conditions that are unsafe with the wiring, and it has a little button here that you can manually trip test the GFCI device. So GFCI stands for a ground fault circuit interrupter, and what you do is you plug it in here. This is telling us that the outlet is wired correctly because you have 2 orange lights, so that's the proper sequence. And what we're going to do is we're going to manually trip this by pushing that red button. And there you go, you see the power goes out and this little button is popped out. And we're going to reset this. It tells us power is restored. And we're going to check the top receptacle as well, just to make sure that both ends of it are doing it, both sides. And you can also do a trip test here manually by pressing this little button that says test. And that'll pop it out and it'll let you know that it's working. And then you push that in to reset it. I recommend using it with the tester, that way you know for certain that the power is going out the way it's supposed to. So these are something that's quick and easy, something that you should do monthly. And this is also one of the areas that we see a lot on our home inspections where GFCIs are not tripping because they haven't been exercised in a long time. Another important thing that's vital for a homeowner to know is how to change a furnace filter or air conditioning filter, whatever the case may be. That's something that should be done with regular frequency, regularity, depending upon your unit and the type of filters you use. It could be as little as 30 days or as much as 6 months, depending on the filtration setup you have. The first thing you want to do is turn the power off to the unit. Even if the thermostat is off, you don't want somebody to be walking around upstairs and thinking, wow, it's hot, let me turn the air on while you're working on the furnace. That's not going to be a good thing. So we're going to turn the breaker off here, so this kills the power to the unit, so that way nobody can accidentally turn it on while we're working on it. Now this air handler here has a pretty cool feature. It has this little door that swivels up so you can access the filter pretty easily. It's not always going to be that easy. Some units have screws here, some units have clips here. They're all a little bit different. So this one here is easy. We're going to swivel this up. We're going to reach in here and pull this filter out. And this one's not too bad, like it might have recently been changed. But don't be surprised if they're dirty and dusty and have a lot of icky stuff on them. That's what it's doing. It's doing its job by collecting that out of the air. So we'll take the old filter, discard that. We're going to grab the new filter here. Now look on your filter and there'll be a little arrow that says airflow. That's the direction the air is going. So this is an updraft furnace, so we're going to make sure that this arrow is pointed up. So we make sure the arrow's up, and we're just going to find that little track right there that the filter slides in, and you're just going to slide it in until it stops. You don't want to shove it in there. You know, if it meets resistance, then it's probably in. And then you close this door up, and you're ready to go. So another item that we see a lot during our home inspections is caulking around the bathroom fixtures, around the backsplashes, the sinks, tubs, showers, toilets, etc. So we had a spot here that was cracked and open. So I've already taken my little tool here and I've already scraped it out and removed all the old caulking. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a little Clorox wipe, and we're going to clean that area real quick with the Clorox, just to get any last little pieces of dust and dirt and any ooky gooky dirty stuff here. We're going to make it nice and clean, and that way the caulk will stick a little bit better. Now what I'm using this time is, sometimes you don't need an entire tube of caulking. Sometimes you can get away with these little 5-ounce tubes, and all caulking is not the same. So you have exterior caulk to use on the outside, you have interior caulk to use inside. This is the kitchen, bath, and plumbing formula. This has got a mold inhibitor in it, so it retards the growth of mold. This is the stuff you want to use in your bathroom. If you use the exterior caulk or something that doesn't have the mold inhibitor, after a while you might notice some growth on the caulk or grout joints, and that's not good. So I'm going to take the cap off of this thing here, and same thing as before. We're going to use our little razor knife. We're going to cut this right about a 45-degree angle, give or take. So cut this real easy so I don't cut my finger. There we go. All right, and the same thing. We're going to take the 45-degree angle here. We're going to stick it in the joint. We're going to gently squeeze it in there. And we're not going to do a whole lot because you're not trying to fill the void. You're just trying to seal the joint, the opening between the two pieces of backsplash. So we're going to bead of it right there. All right. I'm going to put the cap on this so we don't drip it anywhere. And same thing as before, we're going to take our towel hair, we're going to make it a little bit wet. Okay. We're going to take our little spray bottle here, we're going to give it a little spritz just to get it nice and lubricated. Take our finger, get your finger good and wet, and we're going to smooth right across here. Wipe off the excess. And again, it's not sticking because your finger was wet. Nice little bead right there. Clean up the ends. Okay. Wipe away any little bit of excess moisture here. And then there you go. Once that dries out, that'll be nice and clean and sealed, and you can splash water to your heart's content and won't get behind the wall. Alrighty, we hope this video that we filmed today is helpful for you guys. This is all based on things that we see on a daily basis doing home inspections for real estate transactions. A lot of this stuff is things that we write up based on lack of maintenance. So you as a homeowner, this would be a good idea to keep this maintenance up. So that way when it's time for you to sell your home, we don't have to write it up for you guys. Don't be afraid to reach out to professionals if it's something that you can't handle yourself or something you don't feel safe doing. That's what we're here for. I'm with All-in-One Home Inspections. I'm the lead inspector. We offer a full range of inspection and environmental testing services. We do mold, radon, we do water sampling, we do septics. Give us a call if you have any questions or you need us to look at something for you. Our number is 301-373-6430. This has been Brian the Inspector, and thank you for watching.